three cars in our slalom test. The Chevelle and the Mustang are very close. The HURST Olds in third place. When we come back, we'll run the rest of these great muscle cars through the cones.
Well, the real thing with any of these muscle cars comes down to the motor. Two options were available in 1969, the Ram Air 3 and the Ram Air 4. As far as transmissions, you could get the 3-speed Hydromatic, or you could get the 4-speed, the M21 or the M20 Muncie. The standard rear end for a Judge was a 355. You could order the Posse. As far as braking power, well, 11.1-inch front rotor did most of the stopping. A 9.5-inch rear drum, it helped a little bit. The 400 Ram Air 3 motor had 10.75 to 1 compression, a hydraulic cam, a D-port head, cast iron intake, and a Rochester Quadrajet.
Judge really signifies everything that the GTO stood for. Primarily, that's performance. GTOs were always good performing cars.
And the GTO came out early. It's commonly thought of as being the grandfather of the muscle car movement.
But they had some really good marketing men behind them. Jim Wangers, of course, is a genius. John DeLorean. Even though he had some hard times later on, of course, DeLorean was a really good car guy. So they pushed the car. A prime example is, of course, the famous Car and Driver cover, GTO versus GTO.
I'd say Pontiac really did steal Italy's thunder in taking that because they applied it to a car that had much more mass appeal and mass accessibility, such that who can afford a Ferrari GTO?
The GTO Judge we've got here is a Ram Air 3 model. It's a 366 horse version.
Back then, Pontiac had its own powertrains, and they were super smooth running, super torquey.
If it was a Ram Air 4 car, it would probably run better. While on paper, it's only a 4 horsepower difference or so. There's a world of difference between a Ram Air 4 and a Ram Air 3.
Pontiac just really knocked it out of the park, and they did it from the very first year on forward.
Felt really good. The power steering feels good. Throttle response is good. You can kind of power through the corners. The only thing that's a little lacking are the tires, and you can really feel them roll over, and you can feel a lot of body roll on this car. This car is the shocker so far of the whole test in slalom. I can't believe a car this heavy, this car has air conditioning, would go through the pylons the way it did. The way the sway bars work on this car, it stayed fairly level. Nice handling car, and it shouldn't be. It just did.